We definitely need to talk on your revenue because the amount that you've made with Fiverr alone is just absolutely amazing.
Just in January, I think I made a $4,000. Like, and then it just went up and up and up and up. Right at the beginning of the summer, I was doing like 10,000 a month.
Okay.
And then it just kept going up and up and up.
Hello, Olivia. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to have this conversation.
Of course, thanks for having me. I'm super
Ah,
excited. Let's get into it.
I need to know all the details because so much has happened in your Fiverr career just in the past year in 2023 that I know everybody's just anxious to know because you hit record high numbers towards the end of 23. So let's talk about when we first started talking in December of 22. I kept thinking it was like last year, but it was December 22. What was going through your mind? Like what was your account like that you were like, I need to figure out what's going on here?
Well, during that time, I had a few singing, like vocal songwriting gigs on Fiverr. And I had been doing Fiverr the entire year, but all I did that year was record vocals and write songs for people. It had nothing to do with UGC or voiceovers. I was strictly focused on music. But then I was like laying in bed, scrolling on TikTok, and I saw one of your TikToks, and it was like, you were doing UGC on Fiverr. You like showed how easy it was, just step by step, like how this is how you do it. And I was just like, I can do that too. And so I reached out in bed that night. I'm like emailing you in the dark. And I was like, hey, I'm so inspired by this video that I saw of you. I think I can do this too. I don't know what to do next, but like, please help me. You responded in 20 minutes. I was like, oh my God.
I was so excited to get your message. I was like, oh, yes, I will help you. I will do whatever you want.
Yeah, I was so shocked that you responded right away, and I was like, "Okay, we're doing this." And so I remember you told me, "Okay, just like, I bought one of your preliminary things to get started. I forget what it's called, like a checklist or something that took
Yeah.
me through how to set up my first UGC gig."
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I think it was my UGC guide or something like that. Yeah.
Yes. So I got that. And then over the next 2 weeks, I created my gig. And then I reached back out to you and we did like a Fiverr audit. And then you like introduced me to the benefits of your title being like super strong and
That's
making
right.
sure there were like keywords in the titles. And then after I made all those changes is kind of when everything picked up on Fiverr. Like across the board with my singing gigs, with all the UGC gigs I created, and it like has only just gone up, 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 up like since then.
That is incredible. I remember when you reached out to me, we were actually about to move. So, like, my personal life was going crazy, but I had created those videos on TikTok because I had discovered UGC from TikTok from other creators. And when I created my gig, it just like exploded. It was still really new and it was like really exciting. So, I actually didn't know that you came to me through that video series because I was like really excited to show people how to also do it because it was taken off for me. So I'm like, why wouldn't it take off for everybody else? But then,
Mhm.
if I remember correctly, when you first contacted me, your account was making like $400 a month. Like it was just like
Yeah.
with your singing gigs. I think you had like 4 gigs at the time. Do you
Mhm.
remember?
Yep, it was like about $400 a month. I think the whole first year I did Fiverr, maybe 1 month I made like $1,000, but it was so inconsistent. Nothing consistent about it, and I still had like all these other vocal jobs on the side and songwriting
Yeah,
jobs. And yeah, but once we opened those UGC gigs and changed all the titles, it
it
was
just
like
like took off.
Fiverr just became my number one place to make money. Like
Yeah, you were
instant.
what were you doing before that? You had like a full-time job, obviously. You couldn't like live off of that
Well, so
income
I
before.
I worked from home for the past few years before then,
Oh,
recording competition cheer vocal songs and writing music for TV and
that's
any
awesome.
kind of like session vocal job that I could get,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Okay. So you were already working from home. Yeah.
Working from home, but like no consistency whatsoever. You just take whatever
Whatever job you can get.
comes in. Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I remember when I did your audit, I was looking at your account and I was like, you did everything right. Like your gigs looked outstanding. Your keywords, your title was like keyword rich and all of that. And then when we got on a call, because I was like, I have to see what's going on. And like your analytics were like wonky. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like they were just not, it wasn't climbing like it should have. And then we found out about the editing, like the pitfall that I
Oh,
experienced with
yes.
Fiverr.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, because I was editing like every other day and I didn't know that it was like such a major no-no.
Did I ever tell you that I actually got confirmation from my Fiverr Success Manager that they don't want you to edit your gig up to 4
Yeah.
to 6 weeks? And
Yeah.
like when my gig got deranked in 22, I was just like no one had said anything about that. No, it wasn't
Mhm.
written anywhere, it wasn't described anywhere, and that's like the main driver for me to create the TikTok account. And then of course I create my account to like teach about Fiverr, and then Fiverr's like, maybe we should help our sellers out. And then they start with all their like seller programs and benefits and features to help sellers, which was really awesome. But that was something new that you also saw come
Yeah,
onto the scene with Fiverr, like helping sellers be more successful and stuff like that.
for sure. I have a success manager now and
Oh,
actually I think we have the same one. His name's Zach.
oh yeah. Out of
Because
Orlando.
I mentioned you on the call and I was like, my
Oh,
mentor, Arbel. And he was like, oh, I coach her too. And I was like, oh, that's
oh
awesome.
my God. That's so cool.
But he recently taught me about keywords where your 5 tags at the bottom should not be in your title as well. So you want
Yes.
everything to be different. So that was super helpful as well. But I think just having somebody there from Fiverr that you can just immediately email and like throw questions at is very helpful, you know.
So helpful. So I
It
message
feels
him
like a
often.
right away like sounding board
Yeah.
even if they can't do anything about whatever I'm going through, it just feels
Yeah.
nice to just be like, "Somebody hear me."
Yeah, exactly. I actually just posted a YouTube video about like the benefits of being a Fiverr Seller Plus member. And it's really just like having somebody at Fiverr in your back pocket, which is so helpful when you
Yeah.
take Fiverr seriously, when you're using Fiverr as like your main source of income. I feel like that's just it's a necessary business expense. What services do you now offer? Like how many gigs do you have and what are you offering?
I think I have like either 9 or 11 gigs, but my main gigs are UGC with a product and then unboxing. I do like
Okay.
a spokesperson gig. My other main gig is UGC dog content.
Oh,
So
Yash, how is he
with my
doing?
dogfish. He's good. He's right back here laying down.
Cutie.
But that one fluctuates. Like sometimes last month there was like 20,000 views on it or whatever. But like this
Yeah.
month it's like 80,000. And I don't know what I didn't change anything, but it
Oh
seems
my God.
like the dog one really just up, down, up, down.
Okay.
Um,
That's good to know.
yeah. And I also do a voiceover gig and I have a songwriting gig, a children's nursery rhyme gig, and like I'll do vocals for any song gig. So,
Okay. Do you
I
get
mean,
hits on those other like ancillary services at all, or it's like random jobs like here and there?
I do, but it's not as often. Like
Yeah.
I get between 10 and 20 messages a day like just for my UGC gig.
Okay.
Um and then the music stuff and the voiceover stuff is like a few messages a week.
Okay.
Um
Okay. That makes sense. I feel like there's always going to be one main gig or two main gigs that just kind of dominate your account. And then the other ones just are kind of filler. They just kind of bring traffic to your account and to your other
yeah.
gigs. What's your favorite style of like videos to do for UGC now?
Well, I am really into digital products because honestly, like I don't have to wait for your product to come,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
great. I can
Yeah.
get it to you sooner. And like I did a few ads for Hopper earlier this year and that was so helpful. I did it through Fiverr, but it taught me like how to use the phone as a tool. Like this app blah 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 is so awesome. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And then you record the phone like with your hands like doing whatever you're doing and it just feels like the user experience super organically. You know what I mean? Like I'm showing
Oh.
you how to book a hotel like on my phone as I'm recording it. So I applied that strategy of like recording the phone with another phone to like all my videos that have to do with apps, and people just love it. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
it's always great feedback with apps and like, digital courses and that kind of thing.
Yeah, like
That
ebooks and
is
digital products. Yeah. Those are
definitely my
amazing.
favorite. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I
Like,
actually have to say those are my favorite too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like now though I'm at a point where I can be super selective with like who I'm working with on Fiverr, which is awesome because at the beginning, I'm taking every single order and my prices were so low because I just wanted to get those reviews.
Yeah.
And now I say no more than I say yes.
That's
Like,
awesome.
yeah, like I think 80% of the time I'm saying like, thanks for reaching out. It's not really a great fit, but I'm wishing you the best. So
That's perfect. I've gotten to that point too. I'm like, if it's not at a certain like price threshold, I'm just
yeah.
not going to accept the job because I want to do like higher end jobs. And I like my new motto has been to charge more and work less. Like I want to work as less as possible so that I could work on other projects, but that way I'm making the same amount, if not more, and working just a little bit less. Do you find that a
Yeah.
lot of your buyers submit the order to allow it to go into your portfolio? Do you feel like your portfolio is like pretty thriving or it's still really selective
Well,
in for you?
what I learned this year actually was that it only keeps 20 videos. So I don't know why, but I was under the impression that like every time I add it to the portfolio, there's gonna be like 100 videos there. And then I
Ah,
found out like it actually only keeps the most recent 20 videos. Yeah, so I actually don't even attach them anymore unless I really like the video. And then I'm
okay.
like, I attach it, I add a little message like, I love this video. I would really like to see it in my portfolio. Can you just make sure you select yes? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And have
Um,
people responded to that well? Like they do it?
Most of the time, I
Awesome.
mean, sometimes they don't. And I just feel like, oh, they just don't want people to know they hired someone on
Right.
Fiverr and
Yep.
whatever.
Fiverr contacted you a couple months ago to be featured on their social media page. And when I saw it on Instagram, I like flipped out. I was like, oh my God, that's Olivia. That's my girl. Walk me through what happened. Like, did they contact you to do that? Like, what happened that you got featured on their social media page?
Yeah, I got a message one day and they were like, this is so and so from the Fiverr social media team. We want to feature you. I think it was in November. And I just had to send like a bio, 5 videos that I really liked, and then they kind of compiled everything into this crafted story that they posted on Instagram. But it was super cool to be featured like that.
Yeah.
Like to be recognized by the platform that you give so much of your time and energy to. It was really nice.
Do you know if they contacted you because you were like a top, like you're TRS now. So like because you're a top rated seller in the UGC category, or do you think it was because of how much you're generating on the platform?
It was right after I made top rated seller. I got the top rated seller because I mean, when I got my success manager, the first thing he said to me was, I'm going to submit you for top rated seller. I'm not really sure why you're not a top rated seller. And so I was like, okay, I didn't think anything of it. And then, one day I was just recording a video and the notification popped up on my screen. You're now a top rated seller. And I was like, oh my God.
That is exciting. I
And
love that. That is so
yeah,
exciting.
but I'm
That's
telling you, from
awesome.
the moment that happened, it was just like through the roof sales, like messages, impressions, everything.
Really? Everything went up once you leveled up. Wow, that
Mhm.
is incredible. And you went through the whole thing. You went from the new seller level 1, and I'm not sure at what point you became level 2, but I think it was in the last year. And then
Yeah, I think it was like maybe in the spring or summer.
okay, so
It
like
happened
after we
pretty quickly because when I started with the UGC stuff, my prices were so low. I was doing a ridiculous amount of orders. So I got like through all my measurements very quickly.
you probably leveled up within like 2 to 3 months after our audit, and then
And
within what?
but when I did it, it was like different than how it is now. Like to be a level 2 now, you have to make like, I feel like it's a very low number. I want to say it's like you have to make 10,000 or it might even be
Yeah.
2,000 or something low. But when I did it, it was like 20,000. Like you had to earn $20,000. You had to I don't know, the markers were
Yeah.
all different.
Different. They're
But
changing so many things. I definitely
yeah.
want to get into all the changes. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's awesome. And then you became top rated. And then we definitely need to talk on your revenue, because the amount that you've made with Fiverr alone basically is just absolutely amazing. So like walk me through
Yeah.
what that was like to realize that you're making that kind of money with Fiverr.
Well, even in January, so I'm pretty sure my UGC gig went up January 2023, like January 3rd or something. And just in January, I think I made a $4,000, like
Oh, that's
just
right. Yeah.
right off the bat. So that was really wild. And then it just went up and up and up and up. And I feel like right at the beginning of the summer, I was doing like 10,000 a month.
Okay.
And then it just kept going up and up and up, like 11, 12,000. And then by November, I did 14,000. And then December, it was like 15,000. And
I
so
saw your message. I
basically
was like,
in the last 2 months, it's been like $30,000 in the last 2 months. Like it's
insane.
crazy. It's crazy.
Insane. What would you say? Did you change anything when you went from 10K in the summer? What did you change on your gigs, or did you not touch anything on your gigs?
I changed like my intro video at some point in the
Okay.
fall.
Okay.
And um that was it, I think.
Yeah.
I did
And
change
prices.
some and prices, and I changed some keywords around. So
Okay.
I guess I did make some changes. But you know, they take like a month to kick in, I feel.
But what did you start out as for your price, and what did you end up as of December with that 15K month?
So I started out, I think, at like $20 for a 15-second video.
Yep.
And no ad fee, $20. I'll write the script, I'll do the captions, I'll edit, I'll send you a plain
Don't
version
do
and a yeah,
anything.
like I'll do whatever. And then now my rate is 125 for a 15-second, but I implement an ad fee. So,
Yeah.
and at this point, I only take ads. So if you're running it as an organic post, like I'm just going to say, this is not a good fit. You know what I mean? So essentially, it's 325 per 15-second video because I charge a $200 ad fee per order. So if someone's ordering like a 15-second video, it'd be 125 plus 200, 325 total.
That's excellent. And that's
So
actually,
I guess it went from 20 to 325.
that is in like a year, less than a year, a little bit less than a year.
Yeah.
And how many reviews are you sitting at now for that gig?
Like 25.
Exactly. Awesome. And that's actually, so what you have done, what I have done, and a couple of other really successful students of mine, and even some newbies that are like getting orders in right away and they're posting in the group. In my new Fiverr profit system, I have a whole section on scaling and doing exactly what you're doing, starting at the lower end where you're getting in those reviews, you're hustling, you're grinding, you're building your business from the ground up. And as you start going and as you start moving forward, now you can start charging more. You can add some gig extras. You can start increasing your prices. But then, like you said, work with your ideal clients, because that's the goal at the end of the day, is that, you're not hustling and grinding for years or months and months and months, and you're just hitting that income ceiling month after month. That's what I did. When I first started Fiverr in 2016, I did that for my voiceover gig. I like never touched anything. I grinded for like 3 years straight, and I could never get above like 4,000 a month. Like I hit that every month, and I was working every single day. And I was like, there has to be a better way. Like there has to be a different way that I could make more. And that's where this whole like system came about. So I'm so excited that you implemented that basically. And then I kind of took what you have done, what I have done, and put this in my Fiverr profit system that's going to teach others how to scale just like you did. Do you have some like major suggestions as to how somebody who is new to Fiverr, whether it be UGC or not, where somebody is new to Fiverr, what would be your like biggest to kind of get them through that first couple of like 10, 15 reviews and orders?
Yeah, I mean, people that ask me, I'm just like, you just have to do it. You have to commit to basically working for very little pay. And in most cases, it's gonna pay off. I mean, and then I just say, like, this is my story. This is what happened. And I could not have predicted this. at all. Like, I really wanted this to work out, and it did.
And it did.
You
You put
know?
in the hard work. You have the support of the freelance
Yeah,
community.
you just have to basically bow down to the client's requests, put your head down and get to work, because like we said, like, it's such a short amount of time that you have to do this. It's not forever. It's just a couple months until you basically gain like the trust of other people looking at your profile via all your reviews. So,
Right.
yeah, you just need that basic little
Hustle.
piece of trust from other,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then people are like, "Oh, you want $500 for this? Great, take my money." Like, you know what I mean?
Right, right. Like
So
I've already seen what you can do, what you can offer. You're doing great work, but if you have no reviews, and that's something I do teach is like new seller growth tips. I have a whole lesson on that in the new Fiverr profit system where like yes, you can do a couple things. You can create this outstanding gig, you can showcase your portfolio, let's say outside of Fiverr, but at the end of the day, those first, let's say up to 20 orders, you're going to be grinding. And that's with any business. That's what I have to like stress to so many people. That is with any business that you start, you're going to be
yes.
grinding in the beginning. If I want to go wash cars for my neighbors down the street, like I'm probably, you know what I mean? Like I'm going to charge very little to kind of get that
Yeah,
experience and get better and get faster. So it's just something that you have to
exactly.
do.
Yes, and
Um,
speaking of, like, I would not like, when I first started, I wasn't as skilled as I am now. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right, right.
there's no way I could have charged 325 for a 15-second video a year ago. Like,
No,
people would have been like, "Are you out of your mind?" You know? But,
right,
like,
right.
you just do so many, and as you do them, you just get better and better and better. Like, I
Better and
think
better.
this year I must have done, or last year, like 700 videos
Oh my
for the
God.
year. Like,
Yeah.
between, some clients have 5 videos in their order, so
No,
it's
it's crazy. And
see.
then like if you look back, like I'm sure the same thing is for you. When I look back at my old portfolio and I look at like my first beginning videos, I'm like, please erase those from the
I'm like,
world. Like
yes.
there's like
Oh
the
my god.
pauses in between each like sentence. I'm
Yes.
like, oh my God, this is awful. And now it's like night
Yes.
and day. And the camera has not changed. Like
No, I
it's
know.
just, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yes.
literally the experience, the skill that you get better and better. And that's with any category, regardless of what you're offering. Like you're just going to get better
And
and better.
yes, and I noticed a big thing for me is, like, this seems so stupid, but I'm telling you, translucent powder for your makeup. So, like, a year ago, I didn't know what this was, and I'm thinking, like, I'm out here, I'm just looking like I have a little glow, and I'm it's fine. And then I
Yeah.
look back at my videos and I'm like, "This bitch looks like she's sweating, and, like, what is happening?" And so I look at my videos now and I'm like, the only difference is that I learned what translucent powder is, and I use a
Oh
little bit
my
on my face,
God. Oh my,
but
completely changes the
I'm
look.
telling you, it completely changed the
And that's something you only learn as you like get started
yeah,
and you get going and you're
yes,
getting better. But that is so funny. Yeah, I've learned
yeah,
different things as well. Like I actually created a UGC like production course where I teach people how to like stage their environment, choose their settings, choose their lighting, like use natural daylight and just things that speed up the process. Cause I feel like with UGC in particular, people feel like you need to have like these big fancy lights and you need to have this like expensive setup and a green screen and like all of these things. And it's like, really, you just need to like be at the right angle of your window and
yeah,
record the video, and that's going to speed everything up. And I learned like one of my biggest things is I have like a set wardrobe. Like I literally have
mhm,
3 shirts that I use for all of my
yeah,
videos, and they
yeah,
are hung on like the far end of my closet. They are always washed, cleaned, and ready to go. Like that's my uniform. That's what
mhm,
I use for every video. So that just those little things just kind of speed everything up and make it to
yes.
where you can create quality videos without like, cleaning your house like right before the video. You're going to be all sweaty and flustered and now you want to be on camera like no, you got to clean like the
Yeah.
night before, but little
Yeah,
little tips
no,
and tricks.
yeah, exactly. Like, preparation is really key, I think. And like, you find which spots in your house work really well. So you
Yes.
just continue to use those same spots.
Yeah.
And like, I'll film like 9 videos in a day and then edit the following day. But it's only because I know exactly where to stand. I know exactly
Yep.
what I'm wearing. I have all my scripts lined up and ready to go. Like, I have all my products on the table in a row. Like, I'm
Perfect.
just very organized, and so it
Yeah.
flows super quickly.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Do you use a teleprompter? I do, and I love mine. Do you use it?
I don't use it. I think that it takes
What?
so much freaking time to put it in the little app and time it correctly and then swipe away. And then, oh my God, it drives me nuts. Like, I can't do it.
Oh my God. So you memorize your lines?
So what I do is I break my script up by one line at a time. So it's like on my Google Doc and it's just
Okay.
one sentence, sentence 2, sentence 3, sentence 4. I look at it and I'm like, this app has literally changed my life. And then I go back to it and I'm like, line number 2, and I go.
Oh, wow.
But what I do that I think is extremely helpful is I edit as I go. So
Oh.
I'm like, I'll record one line, I go back and watch it, and I'm like, good, next line. And then do it again. And if I have to like do a second take in the same video, I go in, I edit, I move the thing over. So it's just the clip of the one I want. So
Oh, nice.
when I load it in to edit it, it's all like, it's just the sentences I want. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's awesome. That's like the pre-editing. So your editing takes like no time at all. It's just
Yeah.
adding the overlay and background
Mhm.
music and stuff like that. Do you use CapCut, InShot?
Do at CapCut.
Yeah, CapCut. You know
Yeah.
what? I've been a big InShot girly this whole time. And just this week, I started using CapCut and I was like, oh, I should have been using CapCut. Like
I
it's
really like
powerful. It's
I
really
do it
powerful.
on my computer. I don't really
Oh,
edit on my phone. I like to like load everything in and I find it that it's quicker on my computer.
okay.
But
That's awesome.
if I'm on the go, like I can do it on my phone, but
Yeah, you
you know,
prefer to do it at the desk, at
yeah,
your
I think
desk.
it's just quicker for me.
Yeah. And I think that's the whole thing. When you're a freelancer, when you're a business owner, you got to find what works for you. What works for you may not work for me and vice versa. And that's perfectly fine. Like you're getting the
Yeah.
job done. You're doing a great job. You're obviously succeeding. You're doing it perfectly well. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. And then let's just kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about some Fiverr changes that I know there's really a lot of like I've been hearing in the comments on a lot of my videos and then through email from different sellers that I'm working with and coaching that there's so many Fiverr changes going on that are good and bad. Like I'm going to just kind of rewind really quick. As a Fiverr seller now for 7 years, I can't believe I'm almost at a decade. They never had this many changes, like ever.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I created my course, like literally the night that I created my very first course, which was a little bit over a year ago now, was August of 22. I was literally making my course. They had never changed anything. And I go in the next day as I'm like literally filling all this information out, screen recordings, like point click, go here, go here. And I go in the next day and the whole UI is different. I'm like in the middle of me designing a course about Fiverr. I'm like, are you serious? I had a whole meltdown, whole panic attack. Like, I'm like, I need
Yeah.
to redo all of these videos now because it's
And
not
they're not
relevant.
gonna tell you about it. They're not gonna like give you
No.
any warning.
I was like, what is this? And so over the
Yeah.
last year that I've had this course that I teach people about Fiverr, they have made so many changes that sometimes I don't even know of the changes until my students tell me. And I'm just like, okay, great. There's another one. So what are the changes that
Yeah.
you have noticed that you like, you don't like? What are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, I noticed recently about how a buyer can review a seller. So,
We
normally,
don't like
yeah.
that.
No, I'm not sure that it actually has taken full effect though. I think I was
Okay.
part of the beta testing
Okay.
and I don't know if it's still happening. Like I don't know. But
Okay.
when it was happening and I could tell, they were using emojis instead of the star system, but the emojis were calculating into stars. So it people were very confused because basically the scale towards the top was like great, really great, loved it. And then the next one was like exceptional. So like if people hit really great, loved it, that actually was translating to 4 stars instead of 5. So for a lot of sellers, because I also look at everybody and like what's going on, a lot of sellers, top rated sellers, were getting like 4-star reviews. And I was like, what is happening?
What is happening?
And yeah, so I emailed my success manager to ask. And of course he told me, oh, we're testing emojis now.
In our
So
freelance big sis community, a couple of sellers also noticed it. They're like, why did I
yeah,
get 4 stars? And that's when
yeah.
we were like telling them about that's crazy.
not a fan of this, but I am a fan of, like, if that happens, reach out to the buyer and be like, "Hey, I really enjoyed working with you, and I'm so glad that you love the videos. I was just wondering what could I have done differently to get a full 5 stars?" And then they typically respond with, "Oh, I thought I did leave you a 5-star review. Like, I hit very good." And I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
"Well, I know the new system is a little confusing, but you can reach out to Fiverr and adjust the review if you're willing to." So, the time people are willing to do it, which is great.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's great that Fiverr support will actually do that because in the olden days, they would not. I've actually
oh,
had, yeah, I've had that happen in the past where I got a 1 star and I was like, I mean, I always got 5 star and I got a 1 star and I was like freaking out. And the buyer was like, no, 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 I meant to put 5 star. Like, I don't know how it went to 1 star or whatever. This was years ago. And we
yeah.
both contacted support and they were like, nope, nothing we can do. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, so many changes to benefit and help sellers and like them being lenient on some of the things that
Yeah.
could be their mistake. Our mistake is like really amazing. Were you going to say another thing that you really liked?
Well, something I noticed this morning, like I requested an extension
Mm-hmm.
on a gig because I don't like the app isn't ready yet.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I noticed like I was like, I did that a couple days ago, like this person hasn't responded. So I went in and I looked at it, and now it says if they don't respond, it will automatically update.
Yes.
And I was like, that's
Amazing.
new. Yeah. So I think that's really helpful.
Yeah.
And another new thing I noticed that I don't really like, but it's new, is that if I, as a seller, request to cancel an order, the buyer can now leave a review on
Oh,
my
yeah.
canceled order. So I don't really think this is so fair.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, not a fan of that. But
Yeah.
you know what else is new is that if the buyer requests to cancel and you say, "Sure, no problem," you don't leave a review. They don't leave a
Yeah.
review. It's
Right.
only if the seller like does the request to cancel.
I don't like that feature at all, but I think it really plays heavily into actually what I teach in the Fiverr profit system, which is, and what you already told me, pick and choose who you're going to work with. Because
Yeah,
if you vet the buyer in the chat and you ask them the right questions, you make sure it's a good fit, you're not going against your gut instinct to not work with them, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to experience a cancellation unless something goes like really, really awry. But usually you can tell in the chat if they're going to
right.
be a difficult buyer or if you're just not a good fit, to just call it what it is and have them go on to somebody else, because you can avoid cancellations if you really like pick and choose who you're going to work with. This may not work so well
Yeah,
for like newer sellers that we're telling them to
right.
like hustle, which can be a problem. But I always say go with your gut instinct. If you have a bad feeling from the very beginning, it's usually right. And you're going to run into problems like that where you go to cancel it and now they're going to leave a bad review for you. And that's just not fair. I don't feel
Right.
like that's fair.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely go with your gut. And like just when vetting clients, like how prepared are they? Like, do they know about their own product, or is this their
yes.
first time like drop shipping dog bowls and they have no idea what they're doing?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
That's a good point.
I ask a lot of questions because I want to know like if you're irritated by my questions or whatever, like I don't need to work with you at all. And that just shows me that you are brand new and have no
Yeah.
idea what you're doing. And like I don't want to be the person that walks the buyer through like how to do this, because I have
Yes.
plenty of buyers that are organized and professional and know what they're doing. So
Yes. Yeah.
you know, as a new seller though, you are going to run into those people and you're probably going to take those clients on because you want their reviews. But I guess again, just know that it's not going to be like that forever.
Just know that it's not going to be like that forever. And that is the whole point of scaling, is when you get to the
Yeah.
level that like you're at, you're making 15K plus a month, you're vetting the clients that you want to work with, you're, making sure that you do want to work with them. That's how you should scale Fiverr. It's not grind, grind, grind forever and work with just anybody that comes to your inbox. It's vetting the ones that you actually want to work with. And as a new seller, if you do end up taking those clients that are very brand new, and I've worked with them too, and you end up taking a lot of like a big brunt of the work, because you're, like you said, you're walking them through like how to really
Mhm.
talk about this product, and no, that's not going to look good doing it this way or that way. And that's just going to give you that more experience as a newer seller that you should
Yeah.
do. And hopefully they're a nice buyer. They'll leave you a good review for going the extra mile. But as you grow, you're probably not going to experience that as much.
For sure.
Definitely. I want to know, as we talk about like attracting your ideal clients and all of that, give me some big name brands that you have worked with because of Fiverr. I need to know.
Okay. Well, the biggest one I think was TikTok itself. And
That's
I was
right.
absolutely like shocked when that came through my inbox. But I did like a holiday campaign for them. I did 4 videos for TikTok creative experts, which was really just a very smooth experience.
Oh my
Very
God, that's
professional. Pretty much kind of client that you want, your ideal client.
nice. I love it.
Um, I
That's
did
awesome.
ads for Hopper, like the travel app,
Oh yeah.
Deal Dash, Royal Match, who else?
Oh, I've
Hello
heard of them.
Fresh. I
Really?
yeah,
You did
like
HelloFresh?
mhm,
Oh my God. How was that experience?
it was awesome. Easy peasy.
Awesome.
Very professional and on it. Most of
Perfect.
these big brands coming through Fiverr are super organized and, the exact clients you want. You don't have to really do too much because they give you all the details you need to know, you know?
That's awesome. And then you just said IAMS. You worked with IAMS through Fiverr?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah,
What was the
and
project that they hired you for?
it was for a new, like, app that they have coming out.
Okay.
It's not been released yet. And tons of just, like, drop shipping products and apps, and I can't even think of anything else right now, but, I mean, like I said, like, I
Those
did
are
s
big names though.
yeah, I did, like, 700 videos last year, so it was a lot.
That's
Lots of
insane.
Candy Crush too was on, Fiverr. Lots of
Oh,
video game
wow.
apps. Yeah.
Very cool. And actually something really quick that I'm kind of backtracking a little bit that I forgot to mention that you said how you like pass on a lot of work. I know with my Fiverr Success Manager, we were talking about it. Fiverr is going to start testing out referral commissions.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be like incredible. Cause I told him, I'm like, listen, like I get a lot of inbounds, but a lot of times I'm not going to work with the client. Like, could I maybe get like a kickback for referring them to another Fiverr seller? And he's like, we're actually working on a program to do that. So keep an eye out for that because I believe if you're a Fiverr seller and you refer to another Fiverr seller and they place an order with your link or something like that, that you could get a kickback. I don't know if that's actually happening or not, but that would be
That's
amazing.
awesome. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
refer people all the time, and
yeah.
I feel like a lot they do book that person because they're like, "Oh,
Right.
you trust them? I do too."
Exactly. Word of
Yeah,
mouth is literally the best way to push things along because like you said, if you trust them, then they're going to trust them as well.
yeah, that
Um,
would be an amazing improvement, so
right? I
I hope
know.
they do that.
I would love that change for sure.
Yeah.
So, Olivia, what are your goals for 2024? Like, you've had so much success in 23. What are your thoughts, kind of recapping of last year and your amazing wins and goals going into 2024?
Well, I just wanna keep it going as long as I can and keep learning and growing and working with people that I value and that value my skills. And I'm also, like, so into helping people that wanna get started. So, everyone that reaches out to me on TikTok or Instagram and they're like, they don't know how to get started or what to do. I mean, my first sentence is, "Okay, well, you need to follow freelance big sis, check out Arbel and all of her courses because this is exactly what I did. And I just basically followed the blueprint that you laid out with all of your courses. And
Thank you.
this never would have happened if I didn't meet you, honestly. Like, I think about all the time, like, what if I wasn't scrolling in bed that night and I didn't find this video of like Arbel talking about UGC? What would this year have looked like? You know what I mean?
Ah, right.
So
Oh my God, that's awesome. Thank
I'm
you. And
just
I'm happy
so
you scrolled across
grateful.
me too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Olivia. That's awesome. I'm grateful for
Yeah.
you too, because seeing your wins like that is just like every time you message me and I'm like floored. I'm just like, I run to my husband and I'm like, babe, look, Olivia just hit like another milestone. Like I'm just so excited for your growth because it
Yeah.
is truly what's possible on Fiverr. It just takes strategy and the right kind of guidance, I guess you could say. So
Yeah.
what are you thinking? Are you thinking about adding any new gigs in 24 or you're going to kind of keep things the same? I know you're moving, you're excited for like your own studio
Oh,
space.
yeah. Well, yeah. So now we can afford to move into a bigger apartment. Like my partner and I are both making a consistent flow of income. So I'm
Yay.
excited because our new apartment is going to have a studio where I can work and like just have a set space that is for
Yes.
creating. And
Yes.
man, I'm excited.
Yeah,
So
it's really life changing. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we're going from a 1 bedroom to a 5 bedroom. So let me tell you, honey, UGC can work for you.
I agree.
Follow our bell and it will work for you. That's all I have to say.
I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see your new studio. It's so fun decorating your new space and just having like a dedicated work area. You're going to do amazing things. I already know it. And I cannot wait to see what January holds. You're already slammed again with orders, right? You're already
Yeah,
9 days in.
Yeah, I've got 4,500 sitting in my queue. I've got 3,000 sitting in my pending.
We're
It's
ours.
9 days in.
Oh
It's
my
crazy.
God. Crazy. Crazy. I am so, so excited. We are going to recap in a couple of months and see how things are going, but I am so excited by your success. And I know it's just going to keep going up. Thank you so much for joining me today, Olivia. This is exciting.
Much. And thank you for all your help. You've literally, I say it all the time, you have changed my life.
Oh, thank you so much. And if anybody else is interested in learning more about the system that Olivia followed to hit those big high numbers month after month, then be sure to check out the link below for my Fiverr profit system. And it literally just gives you step by step, like you said, the blueprint to be successful on Fiverr and then some, as well as our freelance big sis community, which we're at like 100, almost 170 members. And I just know we're going to reach 200 really soon. So it's an amazing, thriving group of sellers that help each other. And it's really good thing.
The community is on point and they are quick. You get in there with a message and you're like, anybody know this seller? Are they crazy? What's going on with this change? And people are like,
right?
It is a quick and very supportive community. And it's a great place to just bring all of your thoughts and questions about Fiverr and UGC. Yeah, it is a great community that you've created.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was one of my biggest goals was to have a thriving community that people actually want to like talk and help each other. And it's that like you said, I'll see a comment, I'll see a post, and then I'll just like, oh, did it get answered? And there's like 8 comments already. I'm like, oh, okay, good.
It's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Olivia. Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.